Have you ever just sat outside at dusk and just listened to the cacophony surrounding you? Chances are you were probably listening to at least one of the 26 different frog and toad species that call Louisiana home. Amphibians first arrived on Earth around 350 million years ago. These early amphibians were large and predatory, much like today's crocodiles, and the largest fossil scientists have ever found was 29.5 feet. There are 3 orders of amphibians. First are the Apoda, or Caecilians. These limbless serpentine amphibians live mostly underground and are found in the tropics around the globe. Since we don't have any of these guys here in Louisiana, we won't actually be talking about them anymore today. The second group is Anora, or frogs and toads, which account for over 85% of today's living amphibian species. They are also different from the other amphibians by not having a tail as adults. While many people use the words frog and toad interchangeably, there are a few key differences between the 2 types of Anora. Here in Louisiana, we have 19 native frog species, and we only have 7 toad species found here. Frogs have smooth or moist skin, whereas toads tend to be on the warty side with dry skin. Frogs also like to lay their eggs in clusters, whereas toads lay their eggs in long strands. Frogs usually live in or near the water, whereas toads stay on dry land. Fourth, frogs have skinny bodies with long legs, and toads are fat with short legs. Frogs like to move in leaps and bounds, whereas toads, because of their short legs, move in short hops. And the final difference between frogs and toads is frogs have teeth on their upper jaw, and toads have none. The third and final order of amphibians are the Chordata, or salamanders and newts, of which Louisiana is home to 24 different species. These guys are much quieter and harder to find than their loud, leaping cousins. For the most part, the salamander species look a little bit like gooey lizards with blunt snouts and short limbs. The word amphibian comes from 2 Greek words meaning living both in water and on land. Many of you are familiar with the life cycle of frogs and toads. They hatch from their eggs, spend some time in the water, and slowly morph or change into their adult forms. Many amphibian species rely on something called a vernal pool for reproduction. These pools are shallow, short-term wetlands that are formed from rain or melted snow that has collected in a low point on the ground and is only present for short periods of time. One of the reasons these pools are so important is because they don't have any fish in them. And fish would look at fresh frog eggs in much the same way that we look at a plate of bacon and eggs. Yummy. Sirens, newts, salamanders, and amphiumas all go through a watery larval state and morph into adults, just like frogs. Some, like sirens and amphiumas, actually live their whole life in the water, while many of the salamanders will transition to living on the land or deep in the earth. Besides sharing similar life cycles, there is one other important similarity that all amphibians have in common, and that is they all have thin, soft, and permeable skin. And what this means is their skin, unlike ours or other animals, can actually let liquids and gases pass through it quite easily. Now, if you didn't realize Louisiana had so many amphibians, don't worry, you're not going blind or crazy. They kind of planned it that way. Because of their role as both predator and prey, amphibians rely heavily on camouflage to stay hidden from those bugs that they want to eat and the birds and snakes that want to eat them. While amphibians might seem abundant, just as Kermit the Frog said, it's not easy being green. Almost a third of the world's amphibian species are threatened with extinction. There are many reasons for their decline, and some of these include things like habitat loss and fragmentation, pollution, and there's introduction of non-native species or invasive species. If things didn't seem bad enough, amphibians are also extremely sensitive to changes in temperature and rainfall. And as the climate continues to change, declines and increases or shifts in weather patterns will continue to prevent amphibians from properly reproducing or even maturing into adulthood. At this point, you might ask yourself, okay, yeah, sure, amphibians are pretty cool and they seem to be going through a bit of a rough patch, but why should I care? Well, let me count the ways. First, like I said earlier, amphibians are a really important part of the food web, not just to animals. There are many human cultures, including our own, that view amphibians as a food source. Second, they have been invaluable in education and research, with scientists being able to make a lot of different medications. And finally, because of their permeable skin, amphibians serve as an important biological indicator. Like the canaries used by miners deep underground, amphibian populations serve as nature's early warning system that tells scientists that, hey, something's not right with this ecosystem, and if you don't do something now, things will get worse. Now that you know how cool and important amphibians are, what are some ways that you can help them? First, try to stay away from pesticides or herbicides in your yard. Try to create nature-friendly environments by providing clean water, hiding places, bugs to eat, stuff like that. And then you can also participate in citizen science programs like Frog Watch USA, which focuses on tracking local species. Well, we hope everyone enjoyed learning a little bit about the amphibians that can be found here in Louisiana, and we hope to see everyone in person next year for Ocean Commotion 2021.